G'day guys, welcome to the 30-day low back program built by me, Harry Lowther, the physio. Appreciate you guys coming to check out a little bit more information about what this low back program might be able to do for you. And I wanted to do this, in order to sort of talk through the process a little bit more, give you more detail on how it's actually going to work, why it is that I came up with it in the first place, and again, just try and give you a better sense of what this might be able to achieve for you. So I've named it here the Bulletproof Low Back Blueprint. The reason for that is, we're trying to create, the strongest, healthiest back we possibly can for you, so that you can go about your day without having to worry about, a sudden incident happening, your back suddenly going out, whatever it may be, whatever tasks or activities that you love to do. We don't want to be thinking in the back of our mind, oh, is my back going to be an issue again today? And for a lot of people, backs are a recurrent issue, and it is still the number one leading cause for disability in the world. Something like 650 plus million people are all dealing with low back pain in particularly in the chronic sense. So there is clearly room to improve on what we're doing and how we can try to protect ourselves from this and prevent these things from happening in the future. So not only are we going to try and make your back feel as strong as possible, aka bulletproof, we're going to provide the blueprint or the steps that you can take in order to keep it that way, keep yourself feeling healthy and fit and strong without needing to come back and see me every week or whatever it might be. So after the 30-day period, the important thing for me is that you feel really sort of empowered and you've got the confidence and the skills to be able to continue on your journey wherever that may be, so that you can manage your back and again continue to improve upon what we start off as the foundation here. So that is really the goal at the end of it. It is not to have people keep coming back and you're just this repeat. We'll fix you up a little bit, go away, get sore again, come back, fix you up a little bit, go away. We don't want that repetitive motion. I think it's really important that we start to look at our long-term health and how it is that we can start to look at more of the preventative model. It is slowly becoming more of a focus within the health industry, this sort of preventative and long-term approach. But there's no doubt that there is still a lot of short-term fixes, and that's still the more popular or common thing to see are these short-term solutions. So we're trying to generate these longer-term solutions here with the Bulletproof Low Back Blueprint. So this sort of started off with me thinking about, there ought to be a way to fix low back pain for good. And the reason why I got thinking about it is because I suffered a lower back disc injury. And I think on the next slide, we'll get to that as well. So I had a bit of a disc injury just before I'd started a new role, actually a fly in, fly out physio role. And so it was the first week that I got up there. And a few days prior, I'd been doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, and I just sort of reverted back to this old gym program that I hadn't done for a long time, and was sort of building up the weight pretty consistently. And obviously was just going quite heavy. And then I felt, some sort of pain through the lower back, and over the next couple of days, it progressively got stiffer and worse. And then I ended up having this I was really struggling to move around and walk, and I got treatment on it, which certainly helped. But ultimately, I was dealing with low back issues after that for 3 months, something of that nature. And during that process, I found that there wasn't anything specifically designed for me, without me necessarily just going back to see someone every 2 seconds. Now, I'm fortunate, I'm a physio, so I can have all the physio I want in the world. That's not a problem. But, there wasn't an obvious, here's the program to get you back. There was very similar, do these certain glute bridges and do these certain exercises, do these certain stretches. But I just found that they weren't quite up to scratch for me. And there always seemed to be a missing puzzle piece as well, which was, what's going on with greater health, what was going on with the rest of my health as well. And surely that's playing a bit of a part. So that's how this program sort of started. Was I was trying to build something for myself in order to, again, make my back feel really good. And I remember having a back issue, maybe 6 years prior or something. But I'm 30 now, or 31 now. So for me, it was really important that I don't have these recurrent incidents every couple of years' time, where it could just progressively get worse with each incident. So this is or long story short, it's me trying to figure out for myself how to generate a bulletproof back. So some of the symptoms that I've already spoke about is I had a dull ache in both the left and right hand side of my back, particularly around my hip area. It was definitely worse, slightly more on one side than the other. And once I'd gotten over the initial discomfort and I was able to sort of walk and move relatively normally, and that even took a couple of weeks for me. I was lucky I didn't have too much nerve pain, only a brief sort of day or two of the hint of nerve pain, but otherwise didn't have too much of that, which is very, very fortunate. But I did find that prolonged sitting, prolonged lying down, all that was pretty uncomfortable for me. So if any of these things sound like something you've dealt with, this program was essentially built for you. The thing that really annoyed me for the longest time was this general band of stiffness. Kind of felt like every time I'd go to bend forward or over, felt like this thing needed to like rip a little bit. This thick rubber band, like it just wouldn't want to move and didn't feel great. It just always felt this real tight thing going on there. So part of the program was me trying to figure out what is going on with that and how do I eliminate that when it's been sticking around for weeks and doesn't seem to be changing. So this program is designed around a one-on-one experience. So you'll be with myself, the physio, throughout the whole process. And how we're going about it is we're starting off with a relatively traditional physio approach where we are doing an assessment, but the difference is we're doing this very comprehensive assessment at the beginning. So the very comprehensive assessment at the beginning is actually 1.5 hours. And let's get into exactly a little bit more detail about it. So what we're going to do, we're going to chat, we're going to measure, we're going to treat, we're going to rehab, and we're going to repeat. So in more simple terms, that first session, we're really chatting quite a lot. So 1.5 hours is how long the first consultation goes for, which is far longer than just about any other consultation with a physio that you'll find. The reason we do that is so that we can spend a significant time understanding the full history and context of what's going on, getting a gauge of your other health markers and parameters. So are there any other contributors involved here? Are there any other exercise, nutrition, sleep, any other factors that we need to address in order to maximize your healing and get you to a bulletproof back? Because for me, I've always found that whenever I've had an issue or symptoms of some kind, and I've gone to a doctor or I've tried to help myself out in one way or another, a lot of them seem linked to me. And, I might describe symptoms to someone like a GP, and I might try and describe a bunch of different symptoms. And I'm thinking that they might be a little bit related, and maybe then they're not. And so I always found that I never got what felt like a really good overview of my health. It always seemed like I was getting a tiny sliver of a solution whenever I sought out help for whatever I was going through. This is a bit of a tangent, but I mean, I had and still have some gut issues going on. And it's just always felt like I'm just getting these tiny slivers of what might help. And these in particular, of course, drugs that are here's try this drug and this might help. And to me, it just seemed like it was really lacking a good approach to what's going on with my health. So I'm extending my annoyance, I guess, with the overall health industry or medical industry, and trying to apply everything that I would want when I'm faced with a health problem, so that I can be armed with all the necessary information. And it makes and also so that it just makes sense that if we're going to do a certain intervention, if we're going to do something to try and fix the back and maybe fix sleep and whatever else it might be that's contributing, we should then be able to measure that. And how do we measure that? And we'll get to that a little bit more. But yeah, this is where I get a bit excited and I might get caught into the weeds sometimes. But I think we're over the next decade or so, we will really be looking at this huge, greater picture of health, and we certainly should be for each person, so that we really understand what's going on, what led to certain things happening, and how to best put your health in the best possible place. So, yeah, first session, that was long-winded, but first session, big chat. We'll start to measure and assess different things like your strength, your range of motion, where is it sore to touch and move, and we're just getting a baseline assessment of your whole body from toes up to head as best as we can in order to gauge, all right, where is our starting point? Where are we currently at? And what things might be affecting one another. So we start to create a prioritized list of things that we think are contributing to the primary issue of concern. And then we actually have a roadmap of how to address those things. So that's why we take such a long time in this initial consultation. There's a questionnaire that you complete beforehand as well, which takes 10, 15 or so minutes. And again, that's giving us a really good amount of information across your whole sort of spectrum of health and what's going on. So a lot goes on in that first consultation. And number two, as I sort of touched on, we're measuring everything. So we're going through, we're checking out, we're doing the range, the strength, we're doing the tenderness, aka what's sore, what's not sore, what you can move well, and when pain starts to come up. So we're doing a lot of testing, a lot of measuring, again, to try and quantify exactly what's going on so you can see what changes are affecting what, okay? Because that's how we want to approach every person, is that it's individual to them, but that we're still measuring success and what we're doing throughout the whole process. After that, so once we've gathered all that data, and now we've got a picture of, well, what do we need to address? Great, we now have the roadmap, as I said, so we can start to tackle each of those problems. And we won't try and tackle every single thing straight away, but we will, of course, prioritize what we think is going to give you your best bang for your buck. So within the session, there might be a certain trigger point that may be the most beneficial for us to first get into, that we think might have a cascade of beneficial effects into other structures. We might think of an intervention that can really assist with your sleep, so that when you wake up in the morning, your low back or whatever it is not quite as sore. So whatever we think is going to be the best bang for your buck, we're going to start to try and tackle each issue, and we'll keep ourselves accountable and figuring out exactly what the effect of each of these interventions are as we get you towards the end goal, okay? So this is the exciting part. Bit by bit, we're tackling those problems, using all the tools as a physio that we can, and providing general health education, because I think they go hand in hand, and I just don't think there's enough of it out there, and it's something that I'm passionate about. So we're starting to treat, we found the problems, we've prioritized and rank order the problems to what we think we need to address. We're now addressing them with treatment and interventions and education. And then after that, we're then going, great, once we've got ourselves this baseline, we've gotten some treatment to show some effect, hopefully, then we're going, great, now we want to get into the active side where we're giving you a rehab exercise program. So this is one that I designed and built myself. So this is based off my own personal experience, but also out of what works out there. So I've sort of mashed a bunch of things together, and this will provide the 4-week foundation. All these exercises will provide the 4-week foundation for your low back health and your bulletproof back. So we will be going through that program one-on-one in person as well. So we've got a rehab gym at the clinic. We'll take you through all the exercises there, and then we'll do a weekly check-in of those exercises in the gym to see how you're progressing. And then if you don't have access to any of that equipment, you don't have a gym membership, something like that, you can use our gym, our rehab gym, anytime you like, assuming we're open, which is most of the time. So you can use our gym anytime, every single day if you like, throughout the whole program. So And then, essentially, if I've got time, I can still be around to help coach you through things. But importantly, we're getting you that program. We're running through it together to make sure you're really comfortable with the movements and what's going on. We're tracking the progress of that program, and we should see within that 4-week period that you've gone to a much better level of confidence within these low back exercises and lower body exercises. And with that, we should see a dramatic improvement in your symptoms, or certainly a progressive improvement in your symptoms, where you can really start to see, yes, this is actually for me, this is working, and this is something that I can continue with. And finally, we repeat the process. So as we do these interventions, these treatments, as we start to go down the exercise rehab process, we measure again, we sort of chat about what's going on, we measure what's going on again, we then treat as we need to treat. We just repeat this cycle process to make sure we keep seeing this step up progression. Now, it is important to note with any type of recovery, you're not expecting a straight line of perfection back to normal. You are expecting sort of little bits of ups and downs throughout the journey, but you're ultimately looking at a positive trend line. So that's the important thing. You will have a day where you're not feeling great, or you're a bit sore than you were the previous day during the program, or something may concern you for some reason. And just note that these things happen. You will have days where you just don't feel quite as good. All right. But ultimately, that's why we track and measure so many things, because we expect to see a positive trend line over time. And that's really what the key is, making sure that we're constantly on track with that. And as I mentioned here as well, that's removing the barriers to healing. That's all a part of that education process. So making sure that your nutrition information and your sleep information, your exercise info, and some other key factors of stress management, giving you the tools in order to really up the health game in those different departments of life will give you significant benefits when it comes to low back recovery, or any recovery, to be honest. These things are a universal help to your overall health. And when your health is good, everything else is easier. When your health is not good, it's the only thing that matters in the world. So to break it down, what does the schedule actually look like? So week 1, we're looking at 3 to 4 sessions. It is quite a bit of one-on-one time that we get. It's a lot of one-on-one time that we'll have together. And the reason for this is it's a few things. One, we want to make sure that I'm giving you as much of my time and value as I possibly can. 2, it's to keep you on track. Again, really giving you that confidence of, yes, I understand how to do this exercise. I'm really getting the technique here. It's also just making sure we're giving you as much treatment as I think that you need. But ultimately as well, we've got 30 days in order to get you to this point of confidence. And that's why I want to devote so much time to you during this process, so that you really feel that, yes, I didn't just see the physio 2-3 times over that 4-week period. I saw that physio like so often that I feel like I know him quite well now. I can always reach out if I've got a question or a concern, and there's so much information that we can, and so many different things that we can work on, that the more touch points that we have, way more value that we'll get. And again, we're really looking at improving your health by like 10 times to what you came in with. And your low back is, of course, our primary concern, but there's so many things that feed into it, and so many benefits that we can get from going through this process and having a lot of contact time together. So that week 1, as I said, initial consult for 1.5 hours. A lot of stuff goes on, as we've already talked about. We'll do then 1 to 2 follow-ups. So depending on the treatment we think is required over that time, we might not even get stuck into any exercise in that first few sessions. We might simply just be on treatment. Just depends where you're at in your stage of the low back cycle. We then will try within that first week, however, get a one-on-one rehab gym day in. So run through the program. We'll go through nice and slowly. It's nice and light as well to begin. We're not looking to irritate. We're not looking to cause pain in the gym. We're looking to start to build up the confidence and the stability of structures that you might not have been able to, or simply might not have done previously. Week 2, we're looking at 2 to 3 sessions. Again, all dependent on your needs and where your back is at. So 1 or 2 treatments, and again, another check-in in the gym. Week 3 is the same, a couple sessions of treatment, depending on what's required, another session within the gym. By that point, by week 3, I'm expecting you to feel really confident in the gym. You can breeze through it. You're sort of feeling like, you don't really need me there. You might have little technical questions here and there, but you're starting to get a sense that, all right, like I think this is making a difference for me. And then come week 4, we'll do usually one follow-up consultation as well, another rehab in the gym where we're just fine-tuning the last bits. I'm giving you the information of how to prolong that exercise plan now, if you like, so that you can run with it from then on. And we'll also do an extended closeout consultation. So that's where we go, great, it's been this 4-week period. Where were we at the beginning? Where are we at now? And where do you think that we can sort of end up if you continue on with this yourself? So we're giving a full sort of summary recap on where you've been, where you're currently at, and where we think you're going to get to. And that'll give you a really good picture of, I guess, this process. And I'm expecting you to feel amazing at this point as well. So there may still be some low back issues ongoing, but they will be significantly improved from the beginning. That's what we're shooting for, of course. And you should have the confidence that absolutely this is the route for me, and that you've got the confidence to continue on with it in the long term. What everyone wants to know, the pricing. So what I've tried to do here, as I said before, is create the ideal scenario that I wanted for myself for my low back issue. And to be honest, the scenario that I kind of want for any health issue that I have, if I have a gut issue or whatever it is that's going on, this is how I would want it to be approached. I want someone to go, great, you've got this problem. I'm going to spend this much time and give you this much value over this period to get you to the point where you feel like you really understand what's going on. You can take control of your health, and now you know how to manage whatever it is that's going on. That's not simply just a take this pill. I don't want to just take a pill for whatever it is that I'm going. I want to really understand what's happening. I want lots of value, and I want my problem to be ultimately solved, or at least, again, to have me feel like, yes, I'm on the track to the solution. I know the path, and I can follow that path. And that's what I'm trying to provide here, is to provide the path. So what you get is you get up to 13 sessions with me one-on-one, which is a significant amount of time. You get multiple phone calls. It's probably going to be more than 2. You'll probably be sick of me calling you through the process, to be honest. But I want to make sure that we're checking in, make sure that you're comfortable. If you've got questions, you can ask, or concerns, that we're sort of doing a lot of chat time. You're obviously getting my programs as well that I've built, and access to our gyms at any time. And then a bunch of resources that I've built as well, again, all trying to help with other aspects of health. So sleep, nutrition, exercise, stress management. These are huge factors that all contribute to inflammation and pain and discomfort and poor health. So you're getting all of this here, which is valued at, I think it says $2,500. And all of that value, I'm doing $487. So you can get everything over a 30-day program, up to 13 sessions with me. One session alone, a normal initial consult is $137. It's actually going to be $147 shortly. So you're getting up to 13 sessions for $487. The thing is that you are paying upfront, and there's a few reasons for that as well. So one of them is that when someone has bought into something, there's skin in the game, you're going to be more committed to that program. So it means that the results I'm going to get from my clients are actually going to be improved. So I'm looking for people that are committed to getting this fix, rather than in the mindset of, I just want a short-term solution. I'm not looking for short-term solution mindset people, because long-term solution mindset people are going to have the greatest effect. Now, we'll still help with short-term solution people as well, but I want to work with long-term solution thinkers. And I believe that's why you're here. You're looking for something different. You're looking for something because other things haven't worked. These short-term solutions haven't worked. And so that's why we're going this long-term pathway. The cool thing about it is you can claim on your private health twice because there's an initial consult and a subsequent, but it is paid up front. And then the thing, though, that I do give as a guarantee, because, I mean, you don't know who I am. And at the end of the day, do you want to just give a bunch of money away to some random physio that may or may not help you? Well, that's why I put up my guarantee. So this is my "you suck" guarantee. So if any time during the 30-day period, the 30-day program, you think I did not give you the best possible service that I could, if you're not satisfied with my service, you can message me, text me, email with quotations like "you suck," and I'll give you your money back. Look, that's how confident I am that I'm going to provide such a valuable service that I'm willing to do that. And no questions asked, I'll just give you money back. Because if for whatever reason you really don't think I gave you great service during that 30-day period, I don't want your money then. I'm looking for people to make them feel the best that they've felt in such a long time. Obviously, to make their back pain or their backs feel as good as they have in forever. And I'm looking for people that, again, that sort of long-term oriented people as well. Yeah. So simply, at the end of the day, if this doesn't help you, don't want your money. But I believe it will, and that's why I'm willing to give this 30-day guarantee. And ultimately, if you look at Lowther Physio, we've got very good track record. So if you're concerned at all with that, check out on Google. We got plenty of people that are very happy with what we do there. Now, this program is only done via me, so it's the thing that I developed. So if you're looking for this 30-day program, it will be with me rather than the other physios. But otherwise, Lowther Physio, amazing track record. So look, at the end of the day, if you're interested in what I've been talking about, if you think this program sounds like it's something for you, then get in touch with us. You can give me a call on that number that you see before you. You can reach out via email as well, but I really think that you'll get a lot out of this 30-day program. If you've stuck around this long, then there's a good chance that this will be for you, or at least for someone that you're a friend or a family member that you might be watching this for. But otherwise, would love to hear from you. Get in touch, and look forward to helping you get a bulletproof back soon.